Since the Solar Empire diplomacy adds a lot of new features, and one of the challenges we have is how to make it so that these new features are obvious. In Sins of the Solar Empire Entrenchment, for example, you got star bases and there was a lot of pew pew, which was very nice. Diplomacy doesn't have that. Instead, what it does to the game is a lot more subtle, but in my opinion, much more expansive. For example, in Sins of a Solar Empire and in Entrenchment, if you were playing against computer players, you didn't really have very much, very many options to influence them. So if you were playing, ultimately, all the computer players were going to end up at war with you because they had means to improve their relations with each other through missions. Human players did not. I mean, you could go on missions, but a lot of times it was just impossible to get through them. Now, with a diplomacy tree, you can do that. So, for example, I can go to my tech tree, and I have a bunch of diplomatic options. The most important one, in my opinion, is the envoy prototype here. This allows you to build envoys. You send them to other players' systems, and they improve your relations. They can also give you money, which is very, very handy. Over time, you can be getting, in some cases, you can get a lot of revenue from these envoys, especially once you become make nice with the other players. Another nice thing are the cultural relations. You just research these and you get points towards your relations. The reason this is important is because even if you don't get the computer players to get a ceasefire with you, they're a lot less likely to just gang up on you because they're sending missions at particular targets, and they won't target you if they like you, or at least don't hate you as much, because they'll go after whoever they hate the most. Whoever they have the lowest relationship with is who they'll tend to go after. You can also send computer players on missions. So once you have that, I can literally come over here, talk to my buddy here, and say, hey, go attack this guy, attack his planet, and I need a more relation, so I'll have to spend some money to do that. The better the relation I have with him, the less money it costs, and he'll go ahead and do that in this case. Now I have a really good relations with this guy, and so I have a 12.3, so I can literally come over and manage packs, which I already have done. And with these packs, I can improve my economy, I can make my ships better, and so on. It gets a lot tougher to do this as the more powerful ones require higher and higher relations. So even if you're not playing a free-for-all game, let's say you're doing a 3-on-3 team game, those packs can become very powerful because you still have to improve your relations beyond 10 with envoys in order to get access to those packs. Just because you're on a team doesn't mean you just get to go and give each other packs. Another thing, so here's an example of this is one of the AI cruisers, and this really harkens to one of the biggest improvements in the game. The AI is just massively better. It's not just tougher, it's just plain more intelligent. It uses more of the features in the game, and because of that, they will tend to go after each other. So here's a battle over here. I know it probably seems like I'm just zipping around here, but like here's a battle in another star system. Now in Sins of a Solar Empire and Entrenchment, this sort of game wouldn't even be possible unless you're playing multiplayer, because all these guys would have been by now allied against me, and instead they're carrying out wars against each other, which is very interesting. Some of them like me, some of them don't. Some of them are allied in little groups of 2 or 3, and so they're fighting it out, and it feels a lot more organic, and I have found that particularly fun. Now some people ask, well, why, how come, what do PCs bring to the game market? And this game really shows what the difference between a PC game is like and a console game, because the fact is, a game like Sins of Solar Empire could not be done today on a console. The scope is just too much. I mean, see those little zippy things around here? Those are individual fighters, and I can zoom in and watch them fly around, but the CPU and memory requirements on this are just beyond anything any of the consoles have. It's not a GPU issue. It's memory and CPU, and the consoles don't have that right now. PCs do. And I'm not to mention, just from a user interface perspective, I can't even imagine trying to control this with a controller. So that's a couple of the features here, and I'm going to go into it a little bit more in my next segment.